Hey, Marcos.
Hello, how are you?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Great, great.
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling great.
Okay, excellent. How's how's your training been coming along?
Oh, it's not so easy, huh? We are okay. I'm trying to get fit, to stay fit. Like making some exercise that normally I don't do when I practice normally, like yoga or Pilates, a kind of abdominal, everything that is possible in my small apartment here in Paris.
All right. Well, thank you for taking just a few minutes of your time to help us out. Like I just told the viewers, Marcos, he's Mexican national champion more times than you can count, Pan American champion, Olympian, and he's won so many international titles, and he's currently sitting at number 75 in the world. So I'm thankful that you're willing to take a few of my questions, and then if you're willing and able, maybe you can take a couple questions from the audience.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, what do you like most about table tennis?
The most I like is really like the speed and the rallies. I really enjoy when the ball is going fast, but also I enjoy when there is a rally, because if it's very fast and there is no rally, it's like the emotions are like lower. But when it's fast and the rally is long, this is what I really enjoy, like this kind of points when sometimes we don't have so many, but when we have, it's like really boosting. And I say, okay, that's why I like the speed, explosive. Uh,
So, for those people that haven't seen you play, can you describe your playing style for them? How would you say that you play?
yeah, okay, I have like really risky and aggressive style. I always try to play with my forehand. I think I have a very strong forehand because, okay, maybe because I practiced in China when I was young, so I have a very strong forehand. I always trying to open the game with my flick banana flick backhand. I kind of have a mini service, like reverse service most of the time, long and short everywhere. And I play close or middle distance. I don't play too much long distance. Not so. I think when I was young, in Mexico, it's really high the altitude, so it's difficult to get used to play far.
Yeah.
That's why maybe I always play close to the table. So I will say it's explosive, aggressive style, close to the table.
And is there any particular players that you like to copy? Is there any particular one player or multiple players that you like to copy?
Yes, that's I think very good question because sometimes I try to put my game in the maximum I can. That's why sometimes I look players like, for example, Hugo Calderano. His mental strength is so good. When he starts the game, he's really focused 100% in the beginning of the match until the end. And sometimes he takes little points, 3 or 4 points, and then you start to get better. So I would say for mental, would be Hugo Calderano. I think also Thiago Apollonia have very good style, like similar like mine, because he was always searching forehand. So I like to see him play how he can put the ball in one situation that after he always turn around and he always using his more strong part of his game. Sometimes we are searching. Okay, I have very good backhand, but I can never use it.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. So sometimes. So I look to these two players for me, for my system and for the mental tennis. I think I like these two players.
So, for younger players, maybe that are watching, maybe they're cadet or mini cadet level. Would you recommend that they just take one player and just focus on that one player to copy, or do you think many players is better?
I think you can have really many players. You can improve someone have very good service, you can look, this guy is very good service, and maybe I can try to not to look the same, but to do the same. Because sometimes when we are young, we try to look the same, and sometimes it's better to do the same service with your style and try to do it really good. This is, I think, is very good. So sometimes you can have some players like Well from Spain that you can take service, or you can take backhand from Fan Dong, or service from Timo, like he's giving always many off spin and goes to table. So for the young, it's very good if they can look many styles of players, and in the practice they can put these styles into the practice, and then they can start to improve maybe in service, in backhand, forehand. And for sure, it's very good to have many players, not only one. Yeah.
So your serve is quite good. What are some things when you're doing serve practice? What are some things that you're focusing on in order to be able to improve your serve? Because I feel like a lot of people, when they practice serve, they're kind of one-dimensional. They're just focusing on one aspect of their serve. But what are some things that you're trying to develop when you do serve practice?
Okay, when you serve, there are many kind of practice. For example, sometimes you serve and you want the ball goes in some position, like for example, short in forehand, and sometimes you are only thinking to put the ball there, no? But many times you can think also, like your hand, how is your hand, how you are your fingers. Sometimes I say, okay, I feel my fingers is a little off. Maybe I can give more speed, or I can give more control. This kind of details is very important. Also, where you touch I will get one right.
Excellent. I was actually going to ask you to get your racket. That's great. I'm going to get my racket too.
Okay, better. So, the racket, you can, for example, sometimes you start to serve like reverse serve, and sometimes you can touch like a little bit more here, or a little bit more up, like here. For me, it's like these two parts is important. When I touch like more here, I can give maybe more spin. But if I want like long service, maybe I touch a little bit more here. So it depends also each player, but this kind of concentration is good if you have it. Because sometimes you want to make only short. Okay, it's short, but maybe the speed is not good, maybe the spin is not good. And okay, in service is kind of opposite. Also, I think the ball is very important. Maybe you can make same service, but you when you throw the ball, it's always same distance. And me, sometimes I practice always change distance. Sometimes very high, sometimes very short. Sometimes like giving slow tempo or same service but with fast tempo.
So for the high toss serve, a lot of times people have a hard time controlling it. Do you have any tips for that? Because most beginner and intermediate players don't do high toss serve, and then when they do, they can't control the bounce. So do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, I think it's very important. Like when you give high, sometimes it's difficult to control. It's true. You need to try to keep a little bit more the ball. Like for example, for me, sometimes I give only like this to in front, but when it's high ball, maybe I touch a little bit for me, like to keep a little bit more the ball and give more slow, small tempo, small direction, because it's really, and also, but it's important to have both, because if very small is slow and the other is like making spin very hard, will be difficult. But with this kind of service, also it's important sometimes the arm is going up. Meaning is you are throwing the ball and you touch a little bit up, so the bound is going like high and it's difficult to control. So you need to make the same tempo and also touch really low. Like this, the ball can go like follow this attitude of the ball.
So,
yeah.
So at what point would you recommend that players start trying to implement the higher toss serve? Do you think even as beginners they should experiment and try it, or do you think that's mainly for elite level players?
No, I think it's very good if they can improve it when they are young, because maybe after they will get one style and it will be difficult to get out of this style.
Yeah.
So younger they are, it's better that they start to practice this kind of serves.
And one of the things that people ask me a lot, and I wanted to get your personal take on it, is the finger positionings. So where do you position your fingers for your different serves, if you don't mind sharing with us? But if it's a secret, okay, you don't have to share.
Yeah, okay, you have the racket like this, but when you are going to make a reverse service, I take like this. Like this, if you have like normal and you want to make reserve, you have not so many options to move. Like it's not free everywhere. But if you have like this, you have really everything like is not bothering you, you know. So when I serve and I take like this, I serve like this, so it's directly up. It's not bothering you like this, like here, you know. So I take like this. It's going up, and then everything is free to make also like speed, you know.
So do you feel most of your pressure on this one is from the thumb, or this finger, or this finger?
I will say this finger.
Yeah, I feel that too. I feel this finger when I do it. But I think some people feel the middle finger.
It's possible. It's both.
Yeah, both. Yeah.
Both. This both can be. Yes. Also, when I serve like normal serve, like no spin or spin, it's really high. I'm going really high.
So is that for this one? Okay. So do you think there's an advantage or a disadvantage on putting the fingers on the handle or not on the handle?
If you put it like this, for sure you have less advantage, because you lose. I will say also like power. You lose maybe spin and speed.
Okay.
Speed, I say, is like the speed when you touch the ball is like really speed, so you can give more spin. And with this, you are not so free to do like a fast movement. So that's why it's better. Almost everyone like this, like high level, everyone change this kind of, or maybe some of them, yes, some of them make even like this.
Yeah.
For this service, so everyone is changing, but for sure you need to be free. Your risk need to be free. Yeah.
So one thing that I've been thinking about in the last couple weeks, but I haven't told anybody, and you're probably going to think I'm crazy for this, is I've been thinking of exercises that you can do to strengthen your fingers. Do you know any top players in the world that do finger exercises?
Yes, for sure. In China, they make the finger exercise with some 3 kilo or 5 kilo, depends on what. But for example, let's say this is like 5 kilo or 10 kilo. They are making like this, you know, you have strength in fingers, and when you are improving, you are turning around like this. You are turning around, and like this. Then you make more high, but it's heavy, you know. So the fingers is they are like getting stronger, yeah, for sure. But you can tell me yours.
No, I was thinking of something like this, very similar, but I never heard of it before. So that's why I figured I would ask you. Do you do that, or do you just heard about it?
No, yeah, sometimes I do it. Not always, but I think I can make it. Because sometimes also for flick or for receive, sometimes you feel a little weak. And sometimes I need to get strong this part. Also the fingers need to be strong, you know. You need to really touch in good position or make the good power in the right moment. You know, you need this kind of power in your fingers. That is really small, but can make the difference.
Nice, nice.
So it will be good. It's good exercise. Very good.
Cool, cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that other people are doing it as well. I'm going to think more about it, but it was just an initial thought that I had within the last couple weeks. So I have two more questions for you, and then maybe we can take one or two questions from the audience. My second to last question here is your best match that you ever played. What was the best match? Is there one particular match that you remember?
Yeah, I think my match for the Olympic qualification with Gustavo Subot.
I watched that match today. Yeah.
Maybe it's not the most beautiful match, like not many rallies and this, but for me it was really intense. Was mentally I feel like the perfect mentally to have in one match. I would love to have this mentality every match. Like I mean with it, it's like when I was playing only 1 point. Like what to do this moment, what is the tactic, only this, because sometimes you say, maybe I'm going to lose, or maybe I'm going to win, or maybe I was 10-6 and okay, I'm going to Olympics. I think in this match, I never think losing or winning. That I think was very good for me. So you just play, you just make the tactic, you enjoy. Of course, you enjoy the pressure. You have many situations, but the goal was to win 1 point. So for me, that's I think the most difficult match, also a good match for me.
So let's just say, for example, you have a younger player that you're giving advice to, and this younger player really has a hard time just focusing on the 1 point. They keep focusing on the benefits of winning or the consequences of losing, and their mind is really wrapped up with that. What would you give them advice as far as being able to have your mindset that you had on that particular match?
Yeah, I think everything is coming with practice. When you are in a training hall, you come and you practice, like some matches. You need also to think like match situation and the moment. For example, with my mental coach, we work like 3 different kind of mental. For example, noises. This means now we are speaking. Someone is maybe making noise over there in the training hall. So you just concentrate on the things outside. Then you concentrate only in your body, like how you feel, how are you now. Maybe you are tired, you feel good, you feel fast, you feel a lot of power. And then you concentrate only in the ball. So you need to really separate this kind of mentality. And in the practice, concentrate only in the ball. So for sure you are not going to think, I need to win, I need to go inside, I'm lifting the baby there. So you are only focusing on the ball and what to do with the ball, finally. If you are thinking about winning or losing, finally you are losing your concentration in the ball. And the goal is to have the concentration in the ball and make 1 point. So this will be my advice, but also in practice, you cannot only in the competition that you are going to don't think. It's normal. You are going to think, or maybe you are going to think. But when you think, okay, now I need concentration in the ball, because everyone thinks like I'm going to lose, I'm going to win, but in the end, you need to come back and concentrate again in the ball. So for me, this is the advice.
Well, we got one question that got submitted, and they were asking about a ritual as far as between points. So I was watching the match today, and there were some really big points in the 6th game. 6th game with Tsuboy, like 10-10 or 11-11, 12-12, like some very, very key points. So at this moment, like between points, you have 8 to 10 seconds between points. What usually goes through your mind in that 8 to 10 seconds between points?
For sure, you need to stay calm. I think to breathe is very important. because sometimes we forget to breathe, and if we forget to breathe, we get yes, you make choices really fast, you know. So for me, it's really important to breathe, like relax, then you breathe, you take like kind of decision, and after breathe to make the choice. Like relax, giving you some motivation after, and then it's going to make your decision and you act. So this is kind of the perfect way to make in this situation, no? Because it's very, like you say, it's very tight match, 10, 11, and you have no time to think, maybe I win or maybe I lose. If you think this will be finished, maybe, you know.
Right.
So, yes.
Good. Good. Well, you definitely had a great mindset in that match.
I tried.
Last question, and then I got to take off because I got some Skype students today. I have eight lessons on Skype today, so I got to go soon. But last question for you. If you were to give any advice to any younger players, let's say juniors or cadets or mini cadets, and if you wanted to give them advice as to how to get from their level into the top 100 in the world, what might be one or two or three things that you'd advise them? I know there's many things, but one or two or three.
Okay, first is like put some goals in their moments, like their career, like short and long goals. Short goals, that means like in this week I need to improve in my legs, I need to improve my service, I need to improve this, you know. So every day you have one goal, but for sure you are going to improve, and you have this motivation to make this goal. Because if you are practicing like every day, like 5 hours or 6 hours, but you have no goal, like okay, I practice a lot,
right.
But what are your goals? You know? So it's good to have goals every time. Like this, you can get motivation because you need to reach your goals, and also you are going to improve. You say, okay, last month I made one goal to make 10 those things. Now I put 2. So now I will put 30. You know? And it's going, you are improving like this. So also discipline with this, you know, you need to be clear with with yourself. You need to have motivation, but also it's good for me like to have motivation from other sports or from table tennis for sure. But for me, I take some little bit from Federer, a little bit from Nadal, Michael Phelps, Malone, and every day you need some motivation from somehow, you know, and you can change it to your own life. So it's my motivation to have goals every week, every day, every month, maybe in 2 years. But it's important to have goals to look how you are improving.
Excellent. I really agree. That's the best advice for young players. So thank you so much for taking a few minutes of your time here. And I really hope that you can get back to training as soon as possible. And I really hope that you continue making good progress. You're really a good role model for a lot of people of making progress over a long period of time. You know, making progress 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, and even still making progress today. So it's good to hear from you, and keep being a good role model for other players, all right?
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Marcos. See you. Bye.